The rain hit the glass walls of Hailtech's headquarters like bullets. Inside the boardroom, fluorescent lights buzzed cold and merciless, reflecting off Adrian Hale's perfect Mont Blanc pen. Across the table, his wife, Lily Carter, sat motionless, one hand resting on her 5-month pregnant belly, the other gripping her cracked iPhone. Adrian's voice sliced through the room. "Sign the divorce papers, Lily. Let's not make this uglier than it already is." She blinked, not believing what she heard. "You're divorcing me? Now?" "Now," he repeated, as if her heartbreak was a business transaction. Behind him, the board members avoided eye contact. Then the glass door opened, and in walked Brooke Ellis, Lily's best friend since college, wearing the same crimson lipstick Lily had once recommended. Brooke's heels clicked against the marble. She placed her hand lightly on Adrian's shoulder. "It's better this way, Lil. You'll understand one day." The air left Lily's lungs. Her mind replayed every moment. Brooke staying late to help Adrian with presentations. The new perfume in his car. The sudden coldness at home. It all fit now. Painfully, perfectly. When Lily refused to sign, Adrian's expression hardened. "You were never good for my image, Lily. You'll get a small settlement. Don't embarrass yourself." He tossed a manila folder toward her. Inside was a check and a clause removing her from Hailtech's health insurance plan. Her breath caught. The baby kicked. She rose, trembling. "I believed in you, Adrian. I gave you everything." He shrugged. "And you'll survive. Women like you always do." A flash of lightning struck outside, illuminating his smirk. The photographers waiting in the lobby snapped away as Lily stumbled out, clutching her belly, rain mixing with tears. Her heels slipped on the wet steps. The Mont Blanc contract floated in a puddle, ink bleeding into nothing. Her phone buzzed a notification. Breaking news. CEO Adrian Hale announces new relationship with PR director Brooke Ellis. A photo loaded beneath Adrian's hand wrapped around Brooke's waist, both smiling in the same building Lily had just fled. Her chest tightened, breath ragged. The rain soaked her thin coat as taxis rushed past. She whispered to the child inside her, "It's just you and me now." Then a horn blared. A black Mercedes stopped inches from her legs. The driver yelled, "Lady, watch where you're going." Lily looked up through the windshield. Adrian's face stared back at her from a massive digital billboard across the street, promoting his company's new campaign. Innovation, integrity, vision. The irony burned through her like fire. She turned away, hand on her stomach, and kept walking into the storm. But what she didn't see was the camera flash from across the street, capturing her soaked, defiant silhouette. That image would soon go viral and change her life forever. The next morning, sunlight crept through the broken blinds of a Brooklyn walk-up apartment Lily could barely afford. The city hummed outside delivery trucks, barking dogs, someone arguing over rent. Inside, silence. Just the hum of an old fridge and the ache in her back. Her suitcase sat half open beside a cardboard box marked fragile. Everything she owned fit inside it. A few books, her cracked iPhone, one framed wedding photo, and a half-empty jar of peanut butter. The smell of damp paint mixed with the bitterness of instant coffee. She hadn't slept. The echo of Adrian's voice, cold, businesslike, still played in her head. Lily checked her bank account again. $147.32. The health insurance cancellation email glared from her inbox. The subject line read, "Effective immediately." Her eyes stung. She whispered, "We'll make it, baby." Somehow. Her body ached as she placed her hand on her belly. The baby kicked weakly, as if reminding her to stay strong. But strength felt foreign now. She'd gone from Park Avenue penthouses to a peeling one-bedroom with flickering lights in less than 48 hours. A knock startled her. The super, Mrs. Ruth Goldman, late 70s, wiry gray hair and heart of gold, stood outside holding a chipped kettle. "You didn't have one, right? You'll need tea. It helps with the nausea." Lily smiled faintly. "Thank you. I'll pay you back." Ruth waved a hand. "Don't you dare. You're too skinny already. Eat something." She eyed Lily's belly, softened. "Men can be trash, honey. But babies? They're miracles. You hold on to that." When Ruth left, Lily sat on the floor, staring at the peeling paint. Her iPhone buzzed a message from Brooke. Be happy for us, Lil. Things just happened. Don't hate me. Her throat tightened. She typed, "You deserve each other." Then deleted it. She turned the phone face down, as if silence could protect her from betrayal. Hours later, she took a temp job as a catering assistant, serving hors d'oeuvres at events for the same wealthy people who used to greet her as Mrs. Hale. She wore a black uniform that barely fit over her belly. No one recognized her. No one cared. That night, exhaustion hit her like a wave. She fell asleep on the floor beside her suitcase, one hand on her belly, the other clutching a hospital brochure she couldn't afford to visit. At 3 a.m., pain tore through her abdomen, sharp, searing. She gasped, crawling toward her phone. No, not now. The taxi dispatcher kept her on hold. She stumbled down the stairs, breath shallow, rain starting again outside. The hospital lights burned too bright. Doctors spoke fast, machines beeped louder. She caught fragments: blood pressure, fetal distress, early contractions. Her heart raced. Tears blurred her vision. Please just save my baby. Hours later, she woke in a white hospital room, IVs in her arms. A nurse stood beside her with kind eyes. You're lucky, sweetheart. One baby's heartbeat is strong. But, she hesitated, you lost the other twin. The world tilted, the ceiling spun. Her hand went instinctively to her belly, now smaller, hollow. A boy, she whispered. It was a boy? The nurse nodded. One boy still fighting. You did good, Mom. Lily closed her eyes. The hum of the monitors matched her heartbeat, slow, broken, but still there. Rain hit the window again, soft this time. She turned her face toward it, whispering to the little life inside her. It's just you and me now, baby. Just us. But in the corner of the room, an intern scrolled his phone, recognizing her viral photo from last night's newsfeed, and sent it to someone at Hale Tech. Within hours, Adrian would know exactly where she was. The next 3 days blurred into fluorescent light, the steady hum of machines, and the small, fragile sound of her surviving baby's heartbeat. Lily lay motionless in the hospital bed at Lenox Hill, one arm bandaged, the other reaching toward the plastic incubator that held her newborn son. He was so small he could fit in her palm-pink cheeks, trembling lips, tubes taped to his skin. A name tag read Baby Carter. She whispered softly, Ethan. Your name is Ethan. No one came to visit. No flowers. No balloons. Just the rhythmic beep reminding her that one heartbeat had stopped forever. A nurse named Carmen walked in, young and kind. He's strong for a preemie. You've got a fighter there. Lily smiled weakly. He didn't get that from his father. Carmen hesitated, recognizing her face. You're the woman from the news, aren't you? She quickly added, Don't worry. I won't say anything. Lily turned toward the window, embarrassed. The city skyline glittered under the gray sky, indifferent to her pain. Down below, yellow cabs moved like veins of life going on, while hers stood still. Later that night, a bouquet arrived at the nurse's station, white roses, sent anonymously. Carmen carried them in. Maybe a friend? Lily shook her head. The card read, Hope the scandal was worth it. A well-wisher. Her throat tightened. The hospital staff exchanged uneasy glances. At midnight, her phone buzzed. It was an email from Adrian's lawyer. Please confirm the hospital bills have been transferred to your personal account. You are no longer under Hale Tech insurance. Lily stared at the screen. Her son's heartbeat monitor beeped faster, matching her own panic. They cut me off, she whispered. She grabbed a pen and paper, cheap hospital stationery, and began listing expenses: formula, diapers, rent, hospital fees. The numbers climbed like a mountain she couldn't climb. Tears blurred her vision. Carmen returned, placing a hand on her shoulder. You need rest. Lily shook her head. I can't. If I don't find a job soon, I'll lose him. The nurse frowned. You just gave birth, honey. I just lost one. Lily said quietly. Rest isn't an option. The next morning, she insisted on leaving against medical advice. She signed the discharge papers with trembling hands. Carmen slipped her a blanket. At least keep him warm. Outside, the cold February wind sliced through her coat. Ethan whimpered softly in her arms. She walked 3 blocks to the subway, holding him close, her hospital bracelet still dangling. The train screeched through the tunnels. People stared, some with pity, others with judgment. She sat in a corner seat, rocking the baby, whispering, "You'll never be invisible, Ethan. I promise." Back in her dim apartment, she laid him in a laundry basket lined with towels. She couldn't afford a crib yet. She ate crackers and drank water from the faucet. That night, thunder rolled again. She looked at her sleeping son, eyes swollen but heart alive. "You survived, and so will I." Across town, in Adrian's luxury penthouse, Brooke held a glass of champagne. "She actually kept the baby?" she asked. Adrian smirked. "She'll come crawling back. They always do." "For?" He didn't notice the TV in the background. The local news replaying the viral image of a woman walking into the storm with a hand on her belly. The caption read, "Abandoned, but unbroken." And while Adrian laughed, the same image caught the attention of someone else's, Gabriel Stone, billionaire founder of the Stone Scholars Foundation, who quietly whispered to his assistant, "Find her." Snow piled against the windows of the small Brooklyn apartment, dulling the sounds of the city. Inside, the heater clanked like an old man coughing, and Lily counted the last $20 in her purse. A can of formula, a pack of diapers, and bus fare that was all she could stretch for the week. Ethan slept in his makeshift crib, a laundry basket, wrapped in a faded blanket. Every few minutes, he let out a tiny whimper, like he feared the world might forget him if he stayed quiet too long. Lily leaned over, humming softly, her voice cracking. "Mommy's here, sweetheart. Always here." Lime. Her cracked iPhone buzzed. A message from the credit card company blinked across the screen. Past due, $2,413.87. Her chest tightened. She whispered to herself, "I used to buy champagne at the plaza, now I can't even buy milk." Every day was a rotation of exhaustion and survival. She woke at 5 a.m., fed Ethan, dropped him off at a small daycare run by Mrs. Ruth downstairs, and took the subway to a part-time catering job. The uniform itched and the shoes pinched, but she smiled through it. She had to. At one event in Midtown, she froze when she heard a familiar voice. Adrian's. Her body stiffened as she turned. There he was, standing under a chandelier, holding a glass of whiskey, laughing beside Brooke. Brooke wore a Cartier bracelet, one Lily had once chosen for herself, never bought. Lily lowered her head, pretending to refill glasses. But fate was cruel. Adrian spotted her. His smirk spread. "Well, well, look who's finally working for a living." Brooke giggled. "Adrian, stop. Land." He ignored her. "How's the baby, Lily?" "Oh, right, babies. Plural, wasn't it? Or did one not make it?" Her breath hitched. She turned away before he could see the tears forming. The tray trembled in her hands, glasses clinking. She whispered through gritted teeth, "You'll choke on that someday." When the shift ended, she sat on the subway home, silent tears slipping down her cheeks. The fluorescent lights flickered, and a man across the aisle offered her a napkin without a word. At home, Ethan had a fever. His skin burned hot. Panic flooded her veins. She rushed him to the ER. The nurse frowned. "No insurance, Miss Carter?" Lily shook her head. "He's all I have. Please, just help him." Hours passed. The waiting room smelled of disinfectant and worry. Finally, the doctor approached. "Viral infection, but he'll recover. Keep him warm, hydrated." Relief washed over her like sunlight through storm clouds. Back home, she rocked Ethan through the night, whispering lullabies between tears. "You're my heartbeat now, my reason." But exhaustion hit hard. One morning, she woke up on the couch, sunlight in her eyes, Ethan crying weakly. Her phone lit up with a message from the daycare. "Rent overdue. Can't hold your spot another week." Lily pressed her forehead against the wall, whispering, "Please, God, give me a break." Fool. And just when she thought she couldn't fall lower, her phone pinged again, an email from Stone Scholars Foundation. Subject line, "Assistant needed, immediate interview." Her hands trembled. She barely remembered applying. It had been weeks ago, a desperate midnight click on a job post. She read the details twice. Location, 5th Avenue. Salary enough to breathe again. Lily looked at Ethan sleeping beside her, his hand clutching her finger. Maybe this is it, baby. Maybe this is where we start again. But outside her door, a man in a dark coat snapped a photo of her apartment number and sent it to Adrian Hale. He typed back 3 words. Keep watching her. The elevator doors opened with a soft chime, revealing a marble lobby bathed in golden morning light. Lily hesitated at the entrance of the Stone Scholars Foundation on 5th Avenue. Her reflection in the glass door didn't match the woman she used to be, dark circles under her eyes, a thrift store blazer, a size too big, and a borrowed pair of heels from Mrs. Ruth. But she lifted her chin anyway. Ethan's tiny handprint sticker was tucked inside her wallet, her secret armor. "Ms. Carter?" a receptionist asked politely. "Mr. Stone will see you now." Her heart skipped. Mr. Stone himself. Most interviews were handled by HR, not the billionaire who funded half of New York's educational programs. She followed the assistant through a corridor lined with photos, children smiling with new books, classrooms renovated, libraries reborn. Then she entered an office overlooking Central Park. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the skyline like a painting. A man stood with his back to her, tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a charcoal suit. His voice was low but steady. "You've had a difficult year, Ms. Carter." Lily froze. "You know who I am?" He turned around. Gabriel Stone. Gray eyes sharp as ice, yet unexpectedly kind. "Everyone in this city knows your story. What they don't know is whether you let it define you." Her throat tightened. "I'm not looking for pity, Mr. Stone. I just need a chance to work." He studied her for a long moment, then nodded toward the papers in her trembling hands. "Your resume says event coordination, fundraising, and crisis management." She almost laughed. "Mostly surviving crises, yes." The corner of his mouth lifted. "Then you'll fit right in." He handed her a contract, short-term, assistant coordinator for a new outreach program. Pay was fair. Hours were long. The signature line glowed like hope itself. As she reached for the pen, Gabriel added quietly, "One more thing. We don't tolerate lies or hidden motives here, Miss Carter. I build programs on integrity." Her pulse stuttered. "You'll get nothing but honesty from me." "Good," he said simply. "Because the people who tried to ruin you, they're on my radar too." Lily blinked. "What do you mean?" Gabriel's gaze lingered. "Let's just say I invest in character, not headlines." Then, softer. "Your photo, the one in the rain. It reminded me of someone who refuses to quit. That's why you're here." Sean. She didn't know whether to cry or thank him, so she simply said, "I won't waste this chance." By 5 p.m., she was seated at a small desk surrounded by boxes of donation files. The hum of printers and quiet typing filled the room. For the first time in months, she felt like a person again, not a scandal. That night, as she left the building, she stopped by a window overlooking the snowy streets. Across the avenue stood a luxury billboard. Adrian's face again, promoting his new campaign. "Innovation never sleeps." Her reflection overlapped his in the glass. The woman he discarded now stood taller, steadier, working for a man whose name carried respect instead of arrogance. When she reached her apartment, she found an envelope slipped under the door, no return address. Inside, a photo of her entering the Stone Foundation, with a note scrawled across it, "I see you're moving up. Don't forget who helped you start." A.H. Her fingers trembled. Fear and anger surged, but she tore the photo in half and whispered, "You don't get to haunt me anymore." But what she didn't know was that Adrian had already ordered a background check on Gabriel Stone, and the first result made his smile vanish. There was history there, and it was darker than anyone guessed. The first month at the Stone Scholars Foundation felt like stepping out of a storm and learning to breathe again. Lily woke early, brewed cheap coffee in her small kitchen, and took the subway to 5th Avenue, her second home now. The office buzzed with quiet ambition, filled with people who believed in rebuilding lives through education. For the first time since the divorce, she didn't feel invisible. Gabriel Stone rarely appeared in the main office, but when he did, the air shifted. His calm presence commanded attention without effort. He treated everyone from interns to directors with the same quiet respect. To Lily, that was the most disarming part. There were no games, no manipulation, no masks. One afternoon, Gabriel asked her to prepare a proposal for a charity gala-an event that would bring together tech CEOs, investors, and philanthropists. "You've done this before," he said. She hesitated. "Not since my old life." "Then this will be your new one," he replied simply. Working late became routine. The office emptied around 9, leaving Lily under the glow of her desk lamp, reviewing budgets on her MacBook Air. When Gabriel passed by, he'd leave a cup of black coffee beside her without a word. It wasn't romantic, it was respect, maybe empathy. But the past had sharp edges. One evening, she opened her email to find a message from unknown sender. "You think working for Stone makes you clean? Ask him what happened in Seattle, 2015. Her pulse quickened. She looked toward Gabriel's glass office, empty now. She closed the laptop, brushed it off. But sleep didn't come easily that night. Days later, while finalizing the gala's guest list, her stomach dropped. Adrian Hale's name was there. His company had donated a large sum, securing a table near the stage. She rushed into Gabriel's office. "He can't be there," she said, voice shaking. He'll try to humiliate me." Gabriel looked up from his paperwork. "Adrian Hale donated through a third party. I wasn't aware." "Please," she whispered. "He's dangerous." He leaned back, studying her. "I believe you. But removing him now would raise questions. Let me handle this." Her heart pounded. "You don't know what he's capable of." Gabriel's gaze darkened slightly. "Actually, I do." The room fell silent. She wanted to ask what he meant, but he ended the conversation with a calm, "Trust me, Tommen." Later that night, Lily returned to her apartment and found a small envelope slid under her door again. Inside, another photo, this time of her and Gabriel in the office, sharing coffee. The message read, "History repeats. He'll leave you too." Her hands trembled. She looked out the window at the snow-covered street, wondering if someone was watching. The next morning, she confronted Gabriel, laying the photo on his desk. "He's tracking me. He knows where I live. He's threatening me." "Sin." Gabriel's jaw tightened. "Then we'll make sure he can't." He picked up the photo, studied it, then slid it into a drawer. "I'll handle Hale Tech." "How?" she asked. He gave a small, knowing smile. "Let's just say Adrian Hale isn't the only CEO who's made enemies." For the first time, she caught a flicker of something else in his eyes, something cold, calculating. The man who seemed like a savior had shadows too. That night, as she rode home, her phone buzzed again. "You should have stayed in your lane, Lily." She looked up, scanning the subway car faces blurred, indifferent. Her reflection stared back in the window, pale and trembling. And far across Manhattan, Adrian poured himself a drink, laughing softly as his laptop screen displayed a folder labeled Stone, Classified. Whatever history tied Gabriel and Adrian together was about to explode, and Lily was caught in the center. Snow had melted into thin gray slush when the first invitation proofs for the Stone Scholars Charity Gala arrived. Thick cream paper, gold lettering, and a faint scent of bergamot, elegant, understated, expensive. Lily ran her fingers over the embossed logo and felt a shiver of disbelief. Just months ago, she'd been counting change for baby formula. Now her name appeared on the events program as lead event coordinator. Gabriel stopped by her desk that morning, a quiet smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "You've done impressive work, Miss Carter. The board is thrilled." "Thank you," she said softly, eyes still on the invitation. "I just want everything perfect." "Perfection's overrated," he replied, slipping his hands into his pockets. "Integrity isn't." Their eyes met, briefly steady, professional, yet there was something unspoken beneath the surface. For a moment, Lily felt seen, not as a victim or a headline, but as a woman rebuilding piece by piece. That fragile calm shattered 2 days later. While confirming the final guest list, she spotted a new addition. Adrian Hale, Hale Tech Innovations, Table 2. Her pulse spiked. She checked again, hoping it was a mistake. It wasn't. She stormed into Gabriel's office, her voice trembling. "He's on the list. You said you'd handle this." He looked up slowly, expression unreadable. "I did. And that's why he's here." "What?" Gabriel stood, closing the distance between them. If you keep running, he wins. You face him here on your terms, surrounded by people who respect you, not him. Lily shook her head. You don't understand. He doesn't just ruin reputations. He destroys people. His tone softened. Then we'll make sure he destroys himself. She stared at him, confusion mixing with fear. Why do you care so much? For the first time, Gabriel hesitated. Because once upon a time, Adrian Hale tried to destroy me too. He didn't elaborate, just turned back to his desk, finished the seating chart. And Lily, bring your son to the after-event brunch. I want people to see what strength looks like. That night, she couldn't sleep. She paced the small apartment, Ethan's soft breathing filling the silence. Memories of Adrian's cruelty looped through her head. The idea of standing across from him again made her hands tremble. The next morning, she decided to visit the gala venue, early the ballroom at the Plaza Hotel. The chandeliers shimmered like frozen tears, and the polished marble reflected her small frame as she walked alone through the empty hall. A voice echoed behind her. Still like to play the perfect hostess, don't you? She froze. Adrian stood near the entrance, immaculate in his tailored coat. He wasn't supposed to be there. The rehearsal wasn't until the next day. Her pulse raced. You're trespassing. He chuckled, stepping closer. Relax. I just came to see how you're doing. I hear you're working for my old friend Gabriel. Friend? She asked, tightening her grip on the clipboard. Adrian's smirk deepened. Let's just say we shared an investment, one that went sideways. He lost millions. I made them. He leaned in. You should be careful, Lily. Gabriel Stone is not who he seems. She stood her ground. Neither are you. Adrian's eyes glinted with mock admiration. Still got that fire. Too bad it's going to burn you again. He left, his cologne lingering in the air like poison. Lily sank into a chair, heart pounding. If what Adrian said was true, she was standing between two men with unfinished war, and she was the target caught in the crossfire. Later that evening, an anonymous text arrived. Seattle, 2015. Ask Gabriel about his brother. Her blood ran cold, and as she stared at the message, the phone buzzed again, this time from Gabriel himself. Don't believe anything Adrian tells you. Some truths are too dangerous to repeat. But it was too late. Lily had already booked a flight to Seattle. The plane landed through a curtain of gray clouds, rain streaking across the window like veins of silver. Lily clutched her worn leather bag to her chest. Seattle felt different from New York, quieter, moodier, as if the air itself carried secrets. She had one photo printed from a forgotten online article. Gabriel Stone, CEO of Stone Dynamics. Brother missing after mysterious crash, 2015. She wasn't sure what she expected to find, only that Adrian's smirk still haunted her. Ask him about his brother. Those words gnawed at her during the entire flight. She took a cab to a coffee shop downtown, where the crash report said Gabriel's brother, Andrew, had last been seen. Inside, the air smelled of espresso and rain. A barista glanced at her suitcase. You visiting? Something like that, she murmured. Do you remember a man named Andrew Stone? He used to come here years ago. The barista frowned, thinking, yeah, the tech guy, right? Real nice. After his accident, reporters kept coming around. Someone said it wasn't an accident at all. Lily's chest tightened. What do you mean? He lowered his voice. Rumor was, a rival company sabotaged his prototype deal. One CEO was investigated but never charged. Name was Adrian Hale. Her pulse stopped. You're sure? The barista nodded. Yeah. Stone brothers were on the verge of suing him when the crash happened. Her fingers trembled around her coffee cup. Gabriel and Adrian partners turned enemies. No wonder Gabriel's eyes darkened every time Adrian's name came up. That evening, she sat in a budget hotel, scrolling through old online archives. Article after article painted the same picture. Adrian Hale had stolen a project design from Stone Dynamics, leading to the company's downfall. A week later, Andrew Stone's car had gone off a bridge. No witnesses, no closure. Lily's phone buzzed. An unknown number again. You're digging in dangerous places, sweetheart. Her breath caught. She looked at the door. Deadbolt locked. Curtains drawn. How could he possibly know where she was? She barely slept. At dawn, She boarded the first flight back to New York. Every time the plane rattled, she imagined Adrian's smug grin waiting for her. When she landed, her voicemail overflowed. 3 messages from Gabriel. She ignored the first 2 but played the third. His voice was steady but edged with concern. "Lily, I know you went to Seattle. Come to my office before you believe anything. Please." At the foundation, Gabriel stood by the window, coat off, sleeves rolled up. The skyline behind him glowed orange in the setting Sunday. "You went looking for ghosts," he said quietly. "I found them," she replied. "Adrian ruined your brother." "Didn't he?" He didn't deny it. "He stole everything Andrew built. I swore I'd take it back, but legally, honorably. That's why I created this foundation. To turn corruption into good." "Then why hide it?" she demanded. "Why let me walk into a war I don't understand?" Gabriel's voice dropped. "Because people like Adrian don't fight fair. He's been watching you, Lily. Using you as bait." Her stomach nodded. "Bait?" Gabriel nodded grimly. "He thinks you're my weakness. That's why you're in danger now." Before she could respond, the lights flickered. Then her phone buzzed a live feed from an unknown number. It showed Ethan, in Mrs. Ruth's apartment, sleeping in his crib. A shadow moved across the screen. Lily's scream caught in her throat. "He's in my building." "Chenzer." Gabriel grabbed his coat. "We'll get him now." They raced through the streets, heartbeats pounding louder than the sirens outside. But when they burst into her apartment, the crib was empty, and on the wall above it, written in red marker, were 3 chilling words: "Come to the gala." The world tilted sideways as Lily stood in the doorway of her apartment, staring at the words scrawled on the wall. "Come to the gala." Ethan's crib was overturned, his blanket on the floor, a pacifier rolling slowly in place. Her knees buckled, but Gabriel caught her before she fell. Her voice came out fractured. "He took my baby. Oh God, he took my baby." Gabriel's jaw clenched. "We don't know that yet. He's trying to control you." "Then where is he?" she screamed, her voice cracking under the weight of terror. "Where is my son?" Police sirens wailed outside. Within minutes, officers filled the apartment. One lifted a small USB drive taped under the crib rail. "Mom," he said, "this was left here." Gabriel took it from the officer, plugged it into Lily's laptop. The screen flickered to life. A video loaded, grainy, low light. Ethan sat in the back seat of a car, unharmed but frightened, holding his stuffed bear. A familiar voice spoke off camera. "Adrian Hale." "Relax, Lily," he said, tone calm, condescending. "No harm will come to the boy, but if you want him back, you'll meet me tomorrow night at the Plaza Gala, alone." "No police? No Gabriel Stone." Lily covered her mouth, sobbing. Gabriel shut the laptop, his face a mask of fury. "He's using your child to pull you into a trap." She looked at him, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Then we set one of our own." Gabriel hesitated, then nodded slowly. "You'll go to the gala, but you won't be alone." "Shua." The next 24 hours blurred into chaos, phone calls, security arrangements, hidden earpieces. Gabriel's team discreetly coordinated with a private investigator, a former FBI agent he trusted. But the police couldn't officially intervene. Adrian's warning was clear. By evening, Lily stood before her mirror, slipping into a black gown that clung to her trembling frame. The reflection staring back didn't look like a grieving mother. It looked like a woman walking into war. "Mrs. Ruth appeared at the door, eyes red. "You'll get him back, sweetheart. I can feel it." She placed a small silver cross into Lily's palm. "For strength." At the Plaza Hotel, the ballroom glittered beneath chandeliers. Reporters clustered at the entrance, camera flashes exploding as black cars arrived. Lily's heels clicked against the marble floor as she entered, heart hammering. Across the room, Adrian stood by the bar, flawless as ever in a navy tuxedo. He raised a glass of champagne, smirking. "There's my leading lady." Her skin crawled. "Where is my son?" she demanded. He leaned closer, whispering, "Patience, Lily. You'll see him soon. But first, I want the Stone Foundation's access codes. All of them." She froze. "You're insane." "Not insane," he said smoothly, "just practical. Stone's empire hides things you can't imagine, secrets worth billions. Give me what I need, and you get your boy back. Munto. Across the room, Gabriel watched through a hidden earpiece feed, jaw tight. His voice echoed softly in Lily's ear. Keep him talking. Adrian's hand brushed hers, a gesture that made her skin crawl. Do you know why Gabriel helped you? Guilt. He's cleaning up his brother's mess, the same brother whose death I merely accelerated. Lily's blood ran cold. You killed Andrew Stone? Adrian smiled faintly. Let's not ruin the evening with ugly words. Heine. Suddenly, the ballroom lights flickered. A projection screen lit up behind the stage. A live video feed of Ethan, safe in the hotel nursery, surrounded by security officers. Adrian's smug grin vanished. What? Gabriel stepped forward from the crowd, voice calm but lethal. You lose again, Hale. The room erupted in chaos. Cameras turned, guests gasped. Adrian lunged for Lily, but security pinned him down before he reached her. Lily rushed toward the screen, crying in relief as Ethan's tiny voice echoed through the speakers. Mommy, she whispered through tears. I'm here, baby. I'm here. But in the corner of the ballroom, a laptop blinked to life. Adrian's backup plan, uploading stolen files from Stone Foundation servers. The night wasn't over. The real betrayal was still waiting in the dark. Applause erupted as security escorted Adrian Hale through the ballroom doors. But Lily couldn't feel the triumph. Her legs buckled as she ran toward the small side hallway where a uniformed officer held Ethan in his arms. When she reached him, the boy's cry sliced through the noise like a siren. She dropped to her knees, gathering him into her arms. His tiny fingers gripped her necklace so tightly she thought it might snap. Mommy, I was scared, he sobbed. She kissed his forehead again and again. It's over, sweetheart. It's over. But in the corner of the room, Gabriel wasn't smiling. He was staring at the large screen still glowing on stage, where lines of code scrolled faster than any human could type. His assistant shouted over the music. Someone's breached the system. He planted a remote access program. Gabriel's voice cut through the chaos. Kill the connection now. Too late. The screen went black. Then the ballroom's overhead projector flickered again, flashing the Stone Foundation's confidential files, donor lists, financial ledgers, encrypted communications, all pouring into the room in real time. Gasps filled the air as cameras began recording. Lily froze. What is this? Gabriel's jaw tightened. He's trying to frame us for money laundering, for fraud, anything that will ruin everything we've built. Reporters shouted questions, cell phones lit up, security scrambled. Adrian smirked as he was dragged toward the exit. Told you I'd make you famous again, Lily. Gabriel stepped closer, eyes blazing. You'll pay for this. Adrian chuckled. So will she. The woman who cost 2 brothers their legacy. Then he looked directly at Lily. You didn't think I found you by accident, did you? I knew Stone couldn't resist a damsel in distress. You were my key all along. Her throat tightened. You used my son. Collateral, he said coldly. Lily lunged forward, fury overtaking fear. You took everything from me, my child, my peace, my dignity. But not tonight. She grabbed the glass of champagne from a nearby table and threw it in his face. The ballroom erupted in chaos again, flashes, shouting, security closing in. Adrian was dragged out, dripping and swearing. Gabriel turned to his team. Lock down every system. We trace the breach and expose the source. Tonight, we end him legally. Oh? By dawn, the ballroom was empty except for shattered glass and exhausted staff. Lily sat on the edge of the stage, Ethan asleep in her lap. Gabriel handed her a bottle of water, his expression softer now. You saved the night, he said quietly. If you hadn't stalled him, we'd have lost everything. She shook her head. You saved us, again. He hesitated. Lily, there's something I never told you. She looked up, wary. What is it? Before Adrian ruined my brother's company, I was part of it too. I funded his first project, the one that killed Andrew. His voice cracked. I didn't know what he planned, but I still live with it every day. Silence fell between them. She studied his face, not the billionaire now, but a man haunted by regret. Finally, she said softly, Then we both know what it's like to lose everything because of him. Gabriel nodded. That's why I swear he'll never touch you or Ethan again. 1. He reached into his coat pocket and handed her a small flash drive. This is the evidence that proves he stole from both companies. It's time for justice. She held it tightly. Let's finish this. Outside, morning light crept across Fifth Avenue, glinting off the broken champagne glasses that littered the marble floor. The headlines were already spreading. CEO Adrian Hale arrested at charity gala scandal. Damn it. But neither of them saw the shadowy figure slipping out the service exit, Adrian's tech assistant with another identical flash drive in hand, whispering into the phone. Phase 2 is ready. Morning sunlight poured through the blinds of Gabriel's penthouse overlooking Central Park. But neither he nor Lily noticed. The night's chaos still clung to their skin like smoke. News anchors across every channel replayed the footage. Adrian Hale arrested at charity gala scandal. Public sympathy shifted instantly toward the Stone Foundation, and toward the woman whose defiant image once went viral in the rain. Lily sat on the couch, Ethan asleep beside her, his tiny hand still clutching her sleeve. She sipped coffee that had gone cold hours ago. Her voice trembled. Do you think it's over? Gabriel stood near the window, staring down at the city. With Adrian? No. Men like him don't stop. Not until they've destroyed everything or everyone around them. 2. He turned, eyes heavy but resolute. We need to finish what we started. That flash drive. It's enough to convict him and every investor tied to his fraud schemes. But once we use it, it'll burn bridges that can't be rebuilt. Lily nodded. Then let it burn. The moment felt solid, but peace never lasted long in her world. By afternoon, her phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. She almost didn't answer, until she heard a voice she hadn't expected. Brooke. Lily. It's me. The voice cracked, brittle, almost frightened. Lily froze. What do you want? I need to talk to you, please. I didn't know Adrian would take it this far. I thought he just wanted revenge. Where are you? Lily asked coldly. Brooke hesitated. A hospital in Jersey. He found out I was helping the feds. He pushed me down the stairs. Lily's stomach twisted. You're lying. I swear, Lily. I'm done covering for him. He kept files on Gabriel too. Things you don't know. If you want proof, come now, before he sends someone to finish this. The call ended before Lily could reply. Gabriel frowned when she told him. It's a trap. Maybe, she admitted. But if there's something we don't know, I have to see it. I'll go with you. She looked at Ethan, sleeping peacefully on the couch. He stays here with Ruth. I can't risk him again. An hour later, they reached St. Matthew's Medical Center, a quiet hospital off the freeway. The nurse at the desk pointed them to room 217. When they entered, Brooke lay pale against the sheets, bruises on her arms. Her once perfect hair was chopped unevenly. I told them everything, she whispered. The fake charities, the money laundering, the offshore accounts. But Adrian's not finished. His assistant, the one who escaped, has a kill switch. He'll release everything unless someone stops him. Gabriel stepped closer. Where is he? Brooke's lips trembled. Somewhere downtown. I don't know the address, but the files are on his laptop, labeled Phoenix. He said it'll rise after Adrian falls. Before Gabriel could respond, the heart monitor flatlined. Lily gasped as nurses rushed in. Brooke's body jerked once, then went still. The monitor screamed its steady, merciless tone. A doctor shouted, "Code blue." Lily backed away, hand over her mouth. Oh my God. Gabriel's eyes went to the IV line, a tiny puncture, not from hospital staff. Someone had tampered with it. He grabbed Lily's wrist. We have to go. Now. They rushed down the hallway just as security alarms blared. Outside, a black car idled at the curb. Adrian's missing assistant in the driver's seat. He saw them, panicked, and sped off into traffic. Lily's heart raced. He's going to release everything, isn't he? Gabriel nodded grimly. Unless we stop him first. As they drove away, sirens wailed behind them. Snow began falling again, soft and relentless, as if the world refused to let her forget that peace was temporary. And in the chaos, neither of them saw the flash of a camera from across the street, capturing Lily and Gabriel fleeing the hospital. By morning, the headline would read, "Murder at Street. Matthews, Was the CEO's ex-wife involved? The morning after the hospital incident, New York woke to flashing headlines. Ex-wife of disgraced CEO, linked to mysterious death. Lily's face filled every newsfeed, the same viral woman from years ago, now painted as a suspect in another scandal. Cameras camped outside her Brooklyn building, and reporters shouted her name as if she were a criminal rather than a survivor. Inside, the air smelled of fear and coffee gone cold. Gabriel paced the living room, sleeves rolled up, phone pressed to his ear. "No comment means guilty," he muttered to his lawyer. "We need to control the narrative before Adrian's people bury her alive." Lily sat by the window, holding Ethan's stuffed bear. Her reflection in the glass looked like a ghost. "They think I killed her, don't they?" Gabriel hung up and turned toward her. "That's what Adrian wants. Brooke was their last loose end. He needed a new distraction, you." Tears welled in her eyes. "But there were witnesses. They saw us arrive after she was hurt." "They won't care about truth," Gabriel said quietly. "They care about spectacle. You make good TV." The knock at the door made them both jump. Detective Ramirez stood in the doorway, trench coat damp from the morning rain. His tone was polite but sharp. "Miss Carter, Mr. Stone, we'd like to ask a few questions downtown." Gabriel stepped in front of her. "She's not answering without counsel." Ramirez nodded. "Then I suggest you bring one. We found syringe residue in the victim's no fingerprints. But we did find this." He held up a plastic evidence bag containing a gold bobby pin. Lily gasped. She recognized it instantly. It was hers. Ramirez's eyes softened. "If you're innocent, you'll want to clear this up." By noon, she sat under harsh fluorescent lights, in an interrogation room, the metal chair cold against her back. Every sound echoed, the ticking clock, the hum of the vent, the scribbling of notes. "I didn't kill her," Lily repeated for the 10th time. "I went there to talk." The detective studied her. "Then how did your pin end up at the scene?" She swallowed hard. "I hugged her. She was scared." He nodded slowly, not committing. "You know, Miss Carter, I read your file. You've had one hell of a life. People like you, survivors, they attract storms." "I didn't ask for any of this," she whispered. Hours later, Gabriel arrived with his attorney. "She's leaving," he said firmly, "unless you plan to charge her." The detective sighed. "No, not yet. But stay in town." As they exited the precinct, the street was chaos, reporters, flashing cameras, microphones. Questions flew like arrows. Did you poison Brooke Ellis? Was it revenge? Are you and Gabriel Stone romantically involved? Gabriel shielded her with his arm, guiding her to the car. "Don't answer them," he said. But Lily's silence was mistaken for guilt. The next morning, tabloids screamed, "Widow of Hailtech Empire turns fatal." By midday, donors began withdrawing support from the Stone Foundation. Emails flooded in, canceled partnerships, severed contracts. Gabriel slammed his office door. He's winning again. Adrian's ghost, even from jail, is poisoning everything. Lily approached him quietly. "Then we expose him. All of it. The offshore accounts, the bribed officials, everything Brooke told us." "Shen." He looked at her, something fierce flickering in his eyes. "If we do that, there's no turning back." "There never was," she said. That night, they sat side by side in Gabriel's study, laptops open, files spread across the desk. The glow from the screen lit their faces. Two broken people stitching justice from ruins. Lily opened a folder labeled Phoenix. Her hand froze. Inside wasn't just Adrian's data. There were internal documents from Stone Foundation itself. Hidden payments. Secret transfers. She turned to Gabriel, voice trembling. "What is this?" He looked up, his expression unreadable. "Those aren't supposed to exist." Before she could respond, every light in the penthouse went out. The city plunged into blackout. And from the darkness came a single ping on her laptop screen. "Hello again, Lily." The blackout hit Manhattan like a punch to the chest. Every window on Fifth Avenue went black. Every elevator froze. Every neon sign blinked out at once. The only light in Gabriel's penthouse came from the faint blue glow of Lily's laptop, the single line of text pulsing on the screen. "Hello, again, Lily." Her fingers trembled above the keyboard. "It's him," she whispered. "It has to be Adrian." Gabriel grabbed his phone. No signal. Impossible. He's in federal custody. Then who's typing? As if in response, the cursor blinked again, followed by new words. "Did you really think prison could hold me?" Lily's breath caught. He escaped? Gabriel's expression hardened. No, someone's using his access. Maybe his assistant. The laptop speakers crackled, and a distorted male voice echoed through the room. "You shouldn't have opened the Phoenix folder, Gabriel. It wasn't meant for her eyes." Lily slammed the laptop shut, heart pounding. "He's in our system." Gabriel crossed to the circuit breaker, flipping switches. Nothing changed. The entire grid's down. If this is part of his plan, he's covering something huge. A faint beeping broke the silence. An emergency generator kicking in. The lights flickered weakly, revealing the chaos of files scattered across the floor. Ethan stirred on the couch, murmuring in his sleep. Lily's voice dropped to a whisper. "He's not safe here." Gabriel nodded. "I'll get him out. My driver can take him to a safe house upstate." But before they could move, the intercom buzzed an unfamiliar voice. "Delivery for Mr. Stone." Gabriel froze. "I didn't order anything." Lily's instincts screamed. "Don't open it." Too late. The front door burst inward. A man in a maintenance uniform rushed inside, face half covered by a mask. Gabriel tackled him instantly. The two struggled, glass shattering, furniture toppling. The intruder swung a wrench. Gabriel dodged and landed a punch that sent the man crashing into the coffee table. Lily grabbed Ethan and ducked behind the couch, shielding his head. Her heart hammered. She glanced toward the fallen man, his jacket patch red. Hailtech Security. Gabriel ripped off the man's mask. The face beneath was unfamiliar, but a small tattoo on his wrist made Gabriel's blood run cold. A phoenix. "He's one of Adrian's," Gabriel said grimly. "They're executing his last directive." Police sirens wailed outside, faint but growing closer. The intruder groaned, trying to rise. Gabriel pressed him down. "Who sent you?" The man coughed blood, smiling through broken teeth. "Phoenix never dies." Then he went limp. Lily stared, horrified. He'd rather die than talk. Within minutes, NYPD stormed the building. Officers cordoned off the area, reporters gathering below. Detective Ramirez pushed through the crowd, eyes wide. "What the hell happened here?" Gabriel exhaled. "Adrian's network isn't done. Someone's hijacking the grid and the Foundation's data. We need protection for her, for the boy." "1." Ramirez nodded. "We'll arrange safe housing." That night, under police escort, Lily and Ethan were moved to a secure apartment in Tribeca. The city remained half dark. The skyline fractured, some towers lit, others dead. It felt symbolic. A war between light and shadow waged above the streets. Lily sat by the window, watching police cars below. "Every time I think it's over," she murmured, "he comes back." Gabriel, exhausted, leaned against the wall. "Then we ended our way. I'll trace the Phoenix network. You focus on staying alive." He turned to leave, but she grabbed his hand. "Don't face him alone." He gave a faint, tired smile. "You think I'd survive this long without you?" For the first time, she smiled back, fragile but real. A soft chime interrupted the silence. Lily's laptop powered itself on, though no one touched it. The screen displayed a live feed of Adrian Hale's cell empty, the door wide open, and beneath it, a single message appeared in red. "See you at the final." The next 48 hours felt like a fever dream. The FBI confirmed what everyone feared: Adrian Hale had escaped federal custody during a power outage at the correctional facility. 3 guards were missing, 2 others found unconscious. News anchors called it the most sophisticated prison break in recent history. Inside the Tribeca safe house, Lily couldn't stop shaking. Every sound made her flinch: the buzz of the fridge, the hum of the heater, the distant sirens. Ethan slept restlessly beside her on the couch, clutching his stuffed bear like a shield. Gabriel stood near the window, phone pressed to his ear, his face illuminated by the city lights that had finally returned. "Yes, I want full surveillance on every Hale Tech property," he said sharply. "And track every offshore account. He'll need money to move." "Why?" He ended the call, exhaustion in every line of his face. "He's not hiding, Lily. He's staging something public, something theatrical." Lily swallowed hard. "You mean revenge?" Gabriel nodded. "The gala humiliated him. He'll want an audience for his return." That night, she couldn't sleep. At 3 a.m., she scrolled through her phone, watching news clips of Adrian's old interviews, his perfect smile, his charm. It all felt like a mask now. She remembered his voice the night he left her. "You'll survive. Women like you always do." He hadn't said it as comfort. He'd said it like a curse. The next morning, Gabriel's tech team intercepted a data breach attempt from inside the Stone Foundation. Someone was still feeding information to Adrian. A mole. Gabriel slammed his fist on the table. "He's always one step ahead. Always." Lily stood, trembling. "Then we get ahead of him." "How?" "Make him think he's already won." "Dad." Gabriel stared at her. "That's dangerous." "So is breathing in his world," she said quietly. By afternoon, the plan was set. Gabriel would leak a fake report showing that the Foundation had shut down operations and liquidated assets into a single account bait. Adrian couldn't resist. The transfer would trace directly to his servers, allowing the FBI to pinpoint his location. Lily's role was to make the story believable. She went to the media, giving a raw, emotional interview. Cameras zoomed in on her tear-streaked face as she said, "I can't keep running. Adrian Hale destroyed everything I loved. If this is the end, at least the truth will be heard." The video went viral within hours. Sympathy poured in from around the world. And just as planned, the Phoenix network activated again. At 9 p.m., Gabriel's analyst shouted from his computer, "We got him. IP trace Queens waterfront. Old shipping terminal." Gabriel grabbed his coat. "Stay here, Lily. Let me handle this." "Tom." She shook her head. "You'll need someone he won't shoot on sight." He hesitated, then gave in. "You get 5 minutes. Then you run." The wind howled as they arrived at the abandoned terminal. Rusted cranes loomed above the dark water, the air thick with salt and diesel. Inside, dim light flickered from old monitors. Adrian stood at the center, perfectly calm, dressed in black. His smile was as sharp as glass. "Welcome to my resurrection." Lily's heart pounded. "Where are the others?" "The guards." He gestured lazily toward the water. "Sleeping with the truth." Gabriel's voice was low and steady. "It's over, Adrian." Adrian laughed softly. "Over? My dear Gabriel, this is just Act 2. You think I don't know you planned this little trap? You still underestimate me." He pressed a button on a nearby console. The walls came alive with screens images of Stone Foundation accounts, falsified transfers, fabricated evidence. "While you were baiting me," he said, "I was rewriting your reality." Lily's eyes widened. "You hacked the Foundation again?" Adrian smiled. "No, you did at least. That's what the records will show." Gabriel lunged forward, but Adrian pulled a gun from his coat and aimed it straight at Lily. "You took my company, my freedom, my life," he hissed. "Now I'll take yours." The metallic click of Adrian's gun echoed through the cavernous terminal. Water lapped against the docks outside, rhythmic, indifferent. Lily froze in place, her heart thundering so loud she could barely hear her own breath. Gabriel shifted slightly in front of her, one arm half raised, voice calm but edged with fire. "Put it down, Adrian. You don't have to end it this way." Adrian smirked. "That's where you're wrong, old friend. There's only one way this ends with me winning." The gun glinted under the dim light. Gabriel took a step forward, and Adrian's finger twitched on the trigger. "One more step," he warned, "and she dies first." Lily swallowed hard, forcing herself to speak. "You think killing me makes you powerful? It just proves you were never anything without other people's pain." His jaw tightened. "Careful, Lily. You don't get to moralize when you've been sleeping with the enemy." Her eyes narrowed. "You mean the man who saved my child from your kidnappers?" The silence that followed crackled like static. Gabriel's voice dropped lower, almost a growl. "If you're going to shoot someone, shoot me. Leave her out of this. Adrian tilted his head, eyes gleaming. How noble. Always playing the hero. That's why Andrew died, remember? You were too slow to save him too. Gabriel's face went pale. You killed him because he refused to sell you the patent. Sure. I killed him, Adrian whispered, because he called me a thief. The world went still. Lily felt her blood turn to ice. Gabriel lunged. The gun went off an ear-splitting crack that tore through the air. The bullet shattered a glass panel behind Lily, showering them in shards. She screamed as Gabriel tackled Adrian to the ground. The gun slid across the floor. Both men grappled, fists and fury colliding. Lily spotted the gun spinning toward the water. Without thinking, she dove for it. The cold metal burned against her palms. Adrian slammed Gabriel against a steel beam, snarling, "You'll never take me alive." Lily stood, hands trembling, aiming the gun. "No, Adrian," she said, her voice shaking but steady. "You'll take yourself down." He turned, laughter twisted. "You don't have it in you." She took a deep breath. "You're right. But I don't have to." Sirens wailed in the distance. FBI, SWAT, NYPD converging. Adrian's smile faltered. "You called them." "John." Gabriel wiped blood from his mouth. "No." She did. Adrian spun back toward Lily, eyes wide. "You were never bait. You were the trap." Before he could move, the warehouse doors burst open. Floodlights exploded across the room. Agents swarmed in, shouting, "Drop your weapon." Adrian raised his hands slowly, smirking again. "You can't prove anything. The files are gone. You'll all go down before I do." Gabriel straightened, breathing hard. "You really think I'd trust one copy?" From his coat pocket, he pulled a second flash drive, the real Phoenix key. "Everything you stole, every dollar you laundered, it's all here. And this time, the world will see it." Adrian's composure cracked for the first time. Two agents grabbed him, forcing him to the ground. His final words hissed between clenched teeth. "You'll regret crossing me, Stone." "You too, Lily." R. As they dragged him out, his manic laughter echoed through the warehouse until it was swallowed by the roar of helicopter blades outside. Lily collapsed against a support beam, tears streaming. "It's really over?" Gabriel sank beside her, chest heaving. "It's over for him. For us, it's just beginning." He glanced at the sunrise spilling through the broken windows, golden light washing over the wreckage. For the first time in years, the sky looked clean. Lily exhaled shakily, eyes on the horizon. "I don't want revenge anymore," she whispered. "I just want peace." Gabriel smiled faintly. "Then, let's build it." But as they stepped outside into the dawn, neither saw the news drone hovering above, recording everything, live streaming to millions. The world was watching their victory and waiting for the next storm. The video of Adrian's arrest spread faster than wildfire. Overnight, the internet turned the story into a modern fable, the billionaire who fell to his own trap. But fame, even the accidental kind, had a price. Lily woke up to a world that now dissected her every breath. Talk shows debated her motives. Tabloids speculated about her romance with Gabriel Stone. And once again, her life wasn't her own. In the following weeks, the Department of Justice launched a public investigation into Hailtech, the Stone Foundation, and everyone tied to the Phoenix network. The court hearings were broadcast live from Manhattan's Supreme Court. Crowds gathered outside daily, some holding signs that read "Justice for Lily," others shouting "Gold Digger." Lily walked through the courthouse entrance in a black suit borrowed from Gabriel's assistant. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted. She held her head high, though her heart quaked. Gabriel walked beside her, silent and steady, his hand briefly brushing hers in reassurance. Inside, the tension was suffocating. Adrian sat across the courtroom, cuffed but smirking, his expensive haircut still immaculate. Even in disgrace, he looked composed, a man convinced he'd eventually win. The prosecutor began, voice sharp as glass. Adrian Hale orchestrated a multinational fraud scheme, laundering millions through false educational foundations. When exposed, he conspired to kidnap a minor, falsify digital records, and frame his ex-wife. Adrian's lawyer, sleek and smug, countered, "Your Honor, my client is a victim of a smear campaign led by Mr. Stone, whose own company engaged in questionable accounting practices. He turned toward Lily. And Mrs. Carter, excuse me, Miss Carter, has a long history of emotional instability. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Lily's stomach twisted. Gabriel squeezed her hand under the table, grounding her. When it was her turn to testify, she rose slowly, palms cold. He told me no one would believe me, she said, voice trembling. He said I was replaceable. But every time he tried to break me, I learned to rebuild. Not because I'm fearless, but because I had no choice. Her words silenced the room. Even the judge paused. Then Adrian leaned forward, eyes locked on her. You think this makes you strong? He hissed. You're just my creation, Lily. My perfect PR tragedy. The judge banged the gavel. Mr. Hale, another outburst and I'll hold you in contempt. Lily looked him in the eye. You don't own my story anymore. When she stepped down, Gabriel met her gaze, pride flickering behind the exhaustion. Over several days, evidence piled high. Bank statements, secret recordings, digital trails. The flash drive Gabriel had saved turned into the case's backbone. And when the final day came, Adrian's mask began to crumble. The prosecutor delivered the closing blow. You wanted to be immortal, Mr. Hale. Congratulations. You'll be remembered. Just not how you planned. The verdict came after 6 tense hours. The courtroom fell silent as the foreman read, "Guilty on all counts." Adrian didn't move. His face was pale, unreadable. Only when guards approached did he mutter, "You'll never live free. The world loves to break its heroes, too." As he was led away, Lily felt the air return to her lungs. She looked up at the skylight. Sunlight spilled across the polished floor like absolution. Outside, cameras exploded again. Reporters demanded quotes. Gabriel shielded her with his coat, whispering, "Let's go home." But before leaving, Lily turned to face the crowd. Her voice was calm, resolute. This isn't revenge. It's closure. For every woman told she's replaceable, this is proof she's not. The crowd erupted in applause. Yet across the street, a man in a gray suit watched silently, phone pressed to his ear. Phase 3 is complete, he said quietly. And she doesn't even know it. For the first time in 5 years, Lily woke up without fear. The trial was over. Adrian Hale was sentenced to 25 years in a federal penitentiary without the possibility of parole. Justice, long overdue, had finally found him. She sat on the terrace of Gabriel's penthouse, sunlight warming her face. Below, Central Park shimmered with early spring. Ethan played with his toy cars on the marble floor, humming to himself. For a moment, life almost felt normal. Gabriel joined her, holding 2 mugs of coffee. "You did it," he said softly. She smiled faintly. "We did it." But he shook his head. "You stood there alone, Lily. You faced him and won. That's your victory." "Won." Before she could reply, his phone vibrated. He frowned as he read the message. Strange. It just flagged a login attempt from an old Foundation server. They think it's nothing. But, she froze. But what? He hesitated. The location pinged from inside the prison. Her blood ran cold. That's impossible. He's behind bars. Maybe. Or maybe his network isn't. The rest of the day passed in a haze. Lily tried to shake the unease, focusing on Ethan's laughter, the smell of pasta simmering on the stove. But every time she blinked, she saw the faint smirk Adrian wore as he was led away in cuffs, like a man who knew something the rest of them didn't. Later that evening, while Gabriel attended a board meeting downtown, Lily tucked Ethan into bed. "No more monsters, okay?" she whispered. He giggled sleepily. "Mommy, monsters aren't real." She smiled. "You're right. But when she turned off the light, her phone lit up on the nightstand, an anonymous text. "Monsters never die, they just change form." Her heart stopped. The number was untraceable. The message disappeared seconds after she read it. She called Gabriel immediately. "Someone texted me." His tone sharpened. "What did it say?" She repeated it. He went silent. "I'll be home in 10 minutes. Don't open the door for anyone." But as she hung up, a soft knock echoed from the hallway. "Maintenance," a voice called. Water leak check. Lily's breath hitched. We don't have a leak, she whispered through the door. No response. Then the sound of footsteps retreating, too slow, too deliberate. When Gabriel returned, the hallway was empty, but a white envelope sat under the door. Inside was a photograph. Ethan asleep in his bed, taken from outside the window. On the back, one word, Phoenix. Gabriel's face turned ashen. He still has people out there. Tree. Then why not just take Ethan, she asked, voice cracking. Why send threats? Because he doesn't want to kill us, Gabriel said grimly. He wants to own us again. Over the next few days, strange things began happening. The Foundation's website went down. Their donor database was wiped. Anonymous tips accused Gabriel of embezzling restitution funds. The media pounced instantly. Headlines read, Stone Foundation under federal review. Gabriel slammed his laptop shut. He's destroying us from inside the system. Every file, every backup, gone. Lily clenched her fists. Then we rebuild again. Like always. But this time, rebuilding meant war. They hired cybersecurity experts, called in federal agents, even reached out to Detective Ramirez. Still, each digital footprint they traced led to dead ends. Then, one night, a hacker on Gabriel's payroll cracked a hidden channel embedded in Adrian's old files. On the screen, a single message blinked. Phase 4. Resurrection begins. March 25. Gabriel whispered, That's tomorrow. Lily felt the air leave her lungs. What happens tomorrow? Before he could answer, the city lights outside flickered. Every phone, every screen in the room came alive at once, playing a live broadcast from a prison security camera. Adrian Hale stood in his cell, smiling at the camera. Miss me? He said. Then the feed glitched, and Adrian vanished. The cell was empty. The world thought he was locked away, but the Phoenix had risen again. The news broke before sunrise. Convicted CEO, Adrian Hale missing from federal prison. Officials stunned by security footage. Every major network replayed the same impossible clip. Adrian standing in his cell, staring straight at the camera, then vanishing as the lights flickered. Lily watched it on the living room TV, clutching her robe tight. The screen froze on his smile. That same cruel, knowing grin she'd once fallen for. It's a deepfake, she whispered, almost pleading. It has to be. Gabriel stood beside her, jaw tense. If it's real, he had help. No one disappears from a federal facility without money, power, or both. Ethan toddled into the room, rubbing his eyes. Mommy, who's that man? She turned off the TV immediately. Just someone who used to hurt people, sweetheart. He frowned. Then why is he smiling? Lily had no answer. By noon, the FBI arrived. Special Agent Leland briefed them inside the penthouse. There's evidence of internal tampering, he said grimly. Digital logs erased, staff on duty unaccounted for. We think Hale orchestrated this for months, maybe years. Gabriel folded his arms. Then what does he want now? Revenge? Attention? Both, Leland replied. He's been sending encrypted messages to multiple financial servers. We think he's trying to trigger an economic breach to crash markets tied to his old company. Lily's heart pounded. If he does that, thousands of people will lose their jobs. Exactly, Leland said. And his last message mentioned you. The room went silent. What did it say? She asked. He pulled out a tablet and read aloud. To erase corruption, one must burn the symbol of innocence first. Lily felt the color drain from her face. He's coming for me. Oui. That night, the wind howled through the city like a warning. Gabriel doubled security around the building, armed guards at every entrance. Lily tried to sleep, but every creak in the hallway made her sit up, heart racing. Around midnight, her phone buzzed, an unknown number again. She hesitated, then answered. Lily, a voice rasped. It's over. You don't understand what's coming. Her pulse spiked. Adrian, you destroyed my empire, he said calmly. So I'll destroy the illusion you built from its ashes. You're insane, she hissed. You lost. You're a ghost. Ghosts live longer than heroes, he whispered. Look outside. She froze. The city lights flickered again. Every billboard, Every LED screen across Manhattan changed at once, displaying a single image. Her face, splattered across the skyline with the words, "Liar. Thief. Murderer." Her scream caught in her throat. Gabriel ran in seconds later, eyes wide. "What happened?" She pointed out the window, tears streaking down her face. "He's turning the world against me again." By dawn, social media was a storm. Hashtags trended globally. Number Lily Carter exposed, and number Phoenix returns. Adrian's network had leaked falsified documents, suggesting she'd staged the entire ordeal, manipulating both men for money and fame. Gabriel slammed his fist on the table. "He's rewriting history." "He's good at it," Lily whispered. "He always was, too." But something in her shifted then. The tears dried. Her voice steadied. "If he wants a war of truth, we'll give him one. I still have the real data from the Phoenix drive, the unedited files. We can prove everything." Gabriel nodded. "Then we go public. Live broadcast. Full evidence drop. He can't silence you if the whole world's watching." They moved fast. By evening, a press conference was scheduled at the Stone Foundation headquarters. Reporters flooded in, cameras ready. As Lily stepped onto the stage, she could feel Adrian's eyes on her, somewhere, unseen, waiting for her to fail. She took a breath. "You've heard his lies," she began. "Now, you'll hear the truth." But before she could continue, the lights in the auditorium flickered again, then cut out completely. Gasps filled the room. Someone screamed. A spotlight snapped on, illuminating a lone figure at the back of the hall, Adrian Hale, alive, real, smiling. And this time, he wasn't alone. Two armed men stepped forward from the shadows, their guns aimed directly at Gabriel Stone. Screams erupted as the spotlight widened, revealing Adrian Hale in the flesh. Immaculate suit, slicked hair, eyes glinting like polished steel. The world had thought him dead or imprisoned, yet there he was, breathing, smirking, standing at the back of the press hall like a resurrected ghost. Reporters stumbled backward. Cameramen dropped equipment. Gabriel stepped instinctively in front of Lily, shielding her with his body. "Adrian, don't do this," he said through clenched teeth. Adrian raised his hands theatrically. "Relax, Gabriel. I didn't come to kill anyone. I came for the truth. My truth." The two armed men flanked him, weapons steady. A live camera from one of the fallen reporters was still rolling, broadcasting the entire chaos to millions watching online. Lily's voice cracked. "How are you even here? You escaped prison." He cut her off with a soft laugh. "No. I was released. A favor repaid by men you can't even name. Power, Lily. It doesn't vanish, it just changes owners." He began walking toward the stage, each step echoing through the tense silence. "You've made me a monster for the public to feed on. So tonight, we'll let them decide who's the real villain." Gabriel's eyes flicked to the exit. Too far. The guards had already sealed the doors. He whispered, "Stay behind me." Adrian stopped mid-aisle, raising a small remote in his hand. "This is a live broadcast," he announced. "Every channel, every stream, every feed. I control them now, so smile, Lily. You're finally the star you always wanted to be." Lily's fear snapped into fury. "You think this makes you powerful? You've lost everything. Your company, your freedom, your soul." Adrian smirked. "Oh, darling. I sold my soul long ago. The trick is making others pay for it." Toi. He pressed a button on the remote. Behind the stage, a massive screen lit up, showing a hacked feed of Stone Foundation files, falsified versions again, rewritten to portray Gabriel and Lily as co-conspirators who embezzled millions. Reporters gasped, cameras zoomed in. Adrian turned to the audience. "You wanted corruption? Here it is. The philanthropist and the fallen wife. A perfect con." Gabriel stepped forward. "You forged those records. I have the originals." Adrian raised a brow. "Then prove it." Gabriel reached into his pocket and pulled out a small flash drive. "Already uploaded," he said coolly. "To every federal server, every journalist in the room. While you were talking, your empire was deleting itself." For the first time, Adrian's confident smile wavered. "You're bluffing." Lily shook her head. "No, he's not. You built the Phoenix network to resurrect yourself, but Gabriel just made sure it dies with you. Don't. The monitors behind them flickered again, this time displaying court-certified documents, real bank logs, testimonies, and video evidence, exposing Adrian's entire scheme. Adrian looked around wildly as the room erupted in shouts. The guards turned on him, lowering their guns in confusion. "Stop!" he screamed, grabbing one of the men's weapons. The shot fired upward, shattering a chandelier. Chaos exploded. People ducked, ran, screamed. Gabriel tackled Adrian again, the gun skidding across the marble floor. Lily dove for it, her hands trembling as she picked it up. "Don't!" Gabriel shouted. But Adrian lunged at her, grabbing her wrist, forcing the barrel toward her chest. His voice was a whisper of madness. "You ruined me, Lily. You think you'll walk away clean?" She stared straight into his eyes, the man she once loved, now hollow. "No, Adrian," she said, steady and cold. "I'm walking away free." A single shot rang out. The hall fell silent. Adrian stumbled backward, eyes wide in shock, then collapsed. The gun slipped from her hands as she sank to her knees, shaking. Gabriel caught her before she fell. "It's over," he whispered. Reporters slowly stood, their cameras still recording, live around the world. On screen, the headline began updating in real time. Adrian Hale dead. Truth finally revealed. Lily looked up through tears as dawn broke through the shattered windows. "No," she whispered. The truth finally lived. But as the broadcast ended, the live feed glitched. A single phoenix emblem flickered across every screen, followed by the words, "Every empire burns, but ashes can still breathe." The world watched the footage again and again. Adrian Hale's final collapse, the echoing gunshot, the woman who refused to die a victim. Within hours, the video became the most viewed broadcast in the country's history. News anchors called it the end of an empire. Social media split between horror and relief, while headlines screamed, "Lily Carter ends the Phoenix." But inside the hospital room 3 days later, there were no cameras, no applause, only silence and the steady beep of a heart monitor. Lily sat on the edge of the bed, her hands bandaged. Gabriel, bruised but alive, stood by the window. Morning sunlight spilled across his face, turning the city skyline into gold. "You saved my life," he said quietly. Lily shook her head. "No, we saved each other." Outside, the streets buzzed with rebirth. People gathered to lay flowers in front of the stone foundation, now a symbol of integrity rebuilt from ruin. Donations poured in. Former employees of HaleTech publicly testified, thanking Lily for exposing the truth. Even the FBI called her a key witness who ended one of the largest corporate crimes in modern history. Yet she felt no triumph, only exhaustion. A bone-deep ache that sleep couldn't touch. Detective Ramirez visited that afternoon, hat in hand. "It's official," he said. "The case is closed. Self-defense. Clear and clean. The world can finally move on." Lily gave a faint, weary smile. "Can we?" He hesitated, then tipped his hat. "You just did." When he left, Gabriel pulled up a chair beside her. "The Foundation's board voted this morning," he said. "They want you as co-chair." Her eyes widened. "Gabriel, no, I can't." "Yes, you can," he interrupted gently. "You turn pain into purpose. That's exactly what leadership is." She laughed softly, shaking her head. "I don't even know who I am anymore." He leaned closer, his voice low. "You're the woman who walked through fire and didn't let it burn her soul." For a long moment, they just looked at each other, two survivors bound by truth and ruin. Then he reached into his coat pocket and set something on the table, a simple silver ring, delicate and unpolished. Lily stared. "Gabriel." "No pressure," he said with a smile. "It's not about erasing what happened. It's about choosing what comes next." Her hand trembled as she picked up the ring. "I spent years fighting for survival. Maybe it's time to learn how to live again." He smiled. "Together?" She nodded, tears glimmering. "Together." Weeks passed. The city moved forward. The headlines faded. The Phoenix network was dismantled, its remnants absorbed into digital archives labeled evidence. Ethan started kindergarten. On sunny days, Lily took him to Central Park, where he'd chase pigeons while she sipped coffee and watched the skyline. One morning, Gabriel joined them, carrying a small envelope. "The governor's office," he said, handing it to her. Inside was a letter. "Miss Carter, in recognition of your courage and your contribution to exposing corporate corruption, the state of New York awards you the Civic Integrity Medal." Her breath caught. "I never wanted medals," she murmured. "I know," Gabriel said. "But you earned it anyway." That evening, the three of them stood on the rooftop terrace overlooking Manhattan. The sunset painted the sky in fire and rose. The same colors that once haunted her now felt like rebirth. Ethan climbed into her lap, pointing at the clouds. "Mommy, they look like birds." She smiled. "Not birds, baby. Phoenixes." He frowned. "I thought phoenixes were bad." She kissed his forehead. "No, they just forget they can rise without burning the world." As the city lights flickered to life, Gabriel took her hand. "So," he said, voice soft, "what will you do now that it's over?" Lily looked toward the horizon, the skyline shimmering like a promise. "It's never really over," she whispered, "but for the first time, it feels like a beginning." And somewhere deep in the city's archives, a single encrypted file blinked to life. Its name, Phoenix, Rebirth, 1. But for Lily Carter, the fire finally warmed instead of burned. The empire had fallen. The woman had risen. So, that's how our story comes to an end. And if you're still here right now, listening, maybe something in Lily's journey touched your heart too, right? Maybe it reminded you of the times you thought you couldn't go on. And yet, somehow, you did. You see, life isn't about avoiding the fire. It's about learning to rise from it. Like the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Every pain, every betrayal, every storm can either destroy you or shape you into someone stronger, wiser, freer. Lily's story teaches us that healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about reclaiming the power it once took from us. Forgiveness, courage, and truth. Those are the real victories. So if you're watching this, my friend, take a deep breath. You've survived 100% of your worst days so far. You're already stronger than you think. And if this story moved you, even just a little, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Not just for views, but to remind more people out there that pain doesn't define us, how we rise from it does.